Hello and welcome everyone. Very happy that we're all together again. In the previous tutorial, we have finished the handling process of the hospital layout we have as a pre-design step for the design to be ready for the lighting design. And now the first step we need to perform is to insert the luminaires we have designed before. If you remember, we designed the lighting system before for some rooms of this hospital on the DIALux software, so we need now to export those lighting systems from the DIALux design to the CAD design. And to do so, we will open the project that we have worked on the DIALux software. Here, as you see, this is the project which we have designed before. If you remember, we have worked on the lighting design for some rooms like the waiting room, the corridor, the meeting room, the operating room, and the patient room. And now if we need to export those designs as a CAD design, we go to the File tab, so we press on File, and then we press on Export, as we need to export this project, or we need to export the luminaires from this project, but as we need to save it as a CAD layout, so we select this option, which is Save DWG or DXF file. This is, as we learned it before, the CAD files have some extensions like the DWG or the DXF, so we need to save this design as a CAD design. Hence, we choose this selection, Save DWG or DXF. And then it asks us for the path at which we will save our project or we will save our CAD file. So I'll save it in this extension. And for you, you can save it at any extension which you need so you can access it later. And after that, it asks us for the rooms that we need to export or for the rooms that we need to export their luminaires. So I'll select all of the rooms, the waiting room, the corridor, here this meeting room, this operating room, and this patient room. So by selecting all of the rooms we have, we can access or the program will save all the luminaires which we have designed on those rooms. And then we will press on OK. And that's it. You can see the program tells us that the export was completed successfully. Now I'll press on OK. And then I'll go now to the path at which I have saved this DWG file. So this is the path at which I have saved the DWG file for the lighting luminaires we have. And this is the saved project. It's saved with a name of project 1. I can open it now by pressing a double click on it. And then continue, and then load. Very good. This is the file which we have. I have opened it, but you can see it's a blank file, or we cannot see where are the luminaires. But to see the design we have, we can type a command, which is the regenerate command. So we press R, E, and G. And then select the second option, which is the regenerate option. This is to regenerate the dimensions or to allocate the design we have. And then I press an enter. That's it. Now I can zoom out a little bit. And here you can see those are the designs which we have. This is the design for the corridor. You can see those are the luminaires for the corridor, this one and this one. This is the luminaire, and this one and this one until the last luminaire on the corridor we have. And those are the luminaires for the patient room. You can see this is the name of the room, which is the patient room. And those are the spot luminaires, and those are the luminaires on the wall. And also if we go down a little bit, we can see those are some other luminaires, and the lay on this room, which is the meeting room. And here we have another room, which is the operating room. So those are the recessed luminaires which we have used for the operating room, and those are two spots which we have used also, if you remember. And when going down, we will find we have the final room, which is the waiting room. And those are two luminaires also which we have used, which were fluorescent luminaires or which were some fluorescent luminaires. Very good. So those are our designs which we have exported from the DIALux software. Now what we need to do is to insert those luminaires on the actual CAD design of the hospital layout. So we will copy all of those luminaires from this CAD file and we will paste them on the architectural design of the CAD layout which we have prepared before or which we have prepared on the previous tutorial. But as you can see, those luminaires which we have exported from the DIALux software has some details or have some extra details, like those details here, which are the distribution of the lux on the different areas of the room. So for the corridor, this is the distribution value of the lux on its different area. It lays here on green. And also for this room, those are the distribution of the lux. And also you can see we have the name of the room and the area of the room and the value of the watt per meter square. So we have 9.8 watt per meter square and the average lux also. And you can see each room has all of those data, like the distribution of the lux, the room name, and so on. But actually, we don't need all of those details and the actual design of the hospital layout, as we need to express just the luminaires we have and the wiring design and the distribution of those luminaires only. So we don't need those extra details. And for that purpose, I'll delete all of the extra details which we don't need. Here I select those distribution of the lux and I press on delete. And also I select those ones and delete them. And here I go there. We don't need those information like the room name. Here I select it and delete it. And then we can go to this room and delete those parts only. We don't need them. And then we go down. We select those parts and delete them. And those ones, here we select those ones and delete them. And also we don't need this number, so I can select it and press a right click and then select similar. And also we can go up. Here we select those ones, delete them, and this one, and delete it. And also we go to this room, delete those parts, and this part. Very good. You can see the design is more clearer now. Now we select those parts also and delete them. And that's it. You can see the design is more pretty now and it's more simpler, and we are ready now to copy those luminaires and paste it on the actual layout of the hospital. And to do so, we zoom out a little bit and select all of the objects we have, and then press a right click and then clipboard and then copy with paste point. And this is to copy the layout from a point which is the reference point that we will paste the layout at which. So we need the design to be aligned exactly at the architectural layout, and for that purpose we press on copy with paste point, and for that purpose I can select a point as a paste point, which may be this point, which is the lower corner of the corridor we have. So we will select this point as a paste point. That's good. Now we jump back to the hospital layout. Here this is the hospital layout, and this is the corridor we have. And if we zoom out a little bit, we will find that this is the paste point which we have selected before. So we will press now a right click and then clipboard and then paste as a block. And we will select the insertion point or the paste point, which is this point exactly. Very good. You can see we managed exactly to insert the different luminaires on the different rooms we have. This corridor and this patient room. And this one was the meeting room, and this is for the operating room, and finally we have this room. Very good. Now after inserting the CAD luminaires, we need to work on the wiring design for those luminaires. But the important note now is that in the real actual design, we don't work on those DIALux samples, or we don't work on those DIALux luminaires. So we will not work on this sample of this spot, for example, or we will not work on this sample of this recessed luminaire. But we work on some other samples for each type of luminaires that are more popular in the actual design, and we add all of those samples, which are the actual samples which we are working on. We add them on a legend or some tables that contains the sample which we need on our actual electrical design of the CAD software. And for that purpose, I have provided for you a CAD file for the electrical legend that we may use some samples for it for our electrical design on the CAD software. So let's open it and then press continue and continue. And that's it. You can see this is the legend. It has some samples for the different electrical parts. For example, a sample for the chandelier and a sample for the surface mount luminaire, which has the dimensions of 60 times 60, and the sample for another luminaire, which has the dimensions of 30 times 60. And this is the sample for the wall mounting luminaire, for example. And if we go down, we will find that this is the sample for the one-way one-gang switch, and this is the sample for the one-way two-gang switch, and so on. So all of those some samples which we can use as a legend for our electrical design. And now for our actual design for the hospital layout, we need a spot luminaire. So we will find that this is the sample for the spot. We can copy it. Here we select it and press a right click, and then clipboard and copy with paste point. And here we can select this point, which is the center of the luminaire, to be the paste point. We can select it to copy with it, and that's it. Now we jump back to our hospital layout. Here we go to the hospital layout, and then we press escape, and then we press a right click, and then clipboard, and then paste as a block, and then continue and continue, and we can paste our luminaire at this position, for example. Very good. So this is the sample of our new luminaire, which we will replace those spots with this one. But the first important note here is that this luminaire scale is much larger than this luminaire, so we need to rescale this luminaire. This is for the design to have a suitable scale for its different parts. So I'll select this luminaire and press SC and enter. This is to scale it. And now we specify the space point. And now we can make the scale factor to P 0.3, for example. And that's it. You can see if we selected this luminaire and press CO and enter to copy it. And here, if we paste it at that position, you can see it has a suitable scale now, as it's much nearer in its size to the actual size of the actual luminaire, which we have exported from the DIALux software. Now we select this luminaire and delete it. And now the second step we need to do is to change the color of this luminaire. So I can select it, and then as it lays on a plug, so I can press a double click on it and then press OK. And now we can select it and change its color. So we go to the Home tab and then change its color to pea green, for example. And then for the hatch, or for the inside hatch, we can change its color also to pea green. Very good. You can see this is a more pretty color, or this color is more bright one. Now we press on Close Block Editor and then save. Very good. Now at that point, the important thing we need to do is to create a new layer which will be used for all of the lighting design objects we have. So we include all of the parts that are used on the same design tools. We add it to the same layer. And here to add a new layer, we press LA and enter. And then we press on this tab, which is to have or to create a new layer. And now we can make its color to pea green, for example. And then press OK. And then for this layer, we will rename it to P Lighting Design. And that's it. Then we press on enter. Very good. Here we have created our new layer, and then we press on close, and now we select this luminaire and we will add it to the new layer, which is the lighting layer, and then select it. Very good. You can see if we selected this luminaire, we have added it to the lighting layer. So all of the objects which we will add later, we will add it to the lighting layer as we are working now on the lighting design. Very good. Now what we will do is to replace all of those spots we have with this new spot which we have prepared. So I'll select this spot and press CO and enter, and select this paste point which is the center of this luminaire. And then I go to the first one, I add it to the same point, and then go to the second one, and to the third one, to this one, and also this one, until the last one we have. So that's for the corridor. We will repeat the same thing for this room. We add it here, and then there, and then at that point, and at that point, and here, and there, until the last one. And then we jump to the third room we have, or the last room, which has some spot luminaires, and this one, and that one, and that one, and that one. And then we can press on escape, and then we can easily select this luminaire, and this second one, this third one, this fourth one, and this fifth one. We can press CO and enter and select this point and paste them at that point. This is to paste the luminaires easily, and at that point, and that's it. Here we can move this luminaire. We press CO and enter, and we move it from that point to the last luminaire we have, and then press escape, and we delete this luminaire finally. Very good. Here at that point we have added all the spots we have to our design, and on the next tutorial we will continue adding the other luminaires which we have, which are those recessed luminaires and those fluorescent luminaires we have. So that's about this tutorial. Hope that's clear right now. Thank you for watching and see you next tutorials.